TAGNBRAG Nation and Rocky family, welcome back to another episode of Food Plot Chronicles. I know what you're thinking, no collar on the shirt today. Hey, it's hot out here. I'm gonna just go with casual Friday on this one. How about it? So today we are gonna be reviewing the progress on the corn and the beans that we planted with Ackerman Power and Equipment. We're about 6.5 weeks post-planting, and we're kind of in the middle ground of where there's nothing to do. What do you mean, David? Dean says there's always stuff to do. There is always stuff to do, but we've got another week or so before we're gonna be planting our fall food plots. So we wanted to give you guys another little progress report of how the corn and the beans are doing. Now, some of this stuff is looking really good, and there's other stuff that's just not. But Mother Nature is so unpredictable, and she gave us a lot of rain in June. But with food plots, you are always fighting something. Ultimately, winners adjust. We are also going to be putting a little bit of nitrogen on the corn. Why you do that, David? Honestly, I don't really know, but Dean says it makes his corn grow bigger. We are right at the time of year where we're starting to get bucks on camera that are looking really good. We're only a few short months away from the season, and my goodness, my loins are burning with excitement. Some farmers will say for every pound of nitrogen you put on after, you can get a bushel of corn out of it.
Per acre?
Per acre.
So say this again?
This is a lot taller corn than we would normally, like we probably could have or should have put nitrogen on it a few weeks ago, but that's okay. We got a good chance, decent chance of a rain tomorrow and the day after. And we haven't had a chance to put our nitrogen down, so we're going to just do it. This corn looks pretty good, but we're going to broadcast some nitrogen. It's too tall to take the four-wheeler and spread it, or the tractor, so we're doing it manual. Some say we're crazy, but we are. So, I mean, with two of us, it's not going to take very long. A couple passes, let it rip, walk fast, crank hard, let that nitrogen just spread along this corn, and if we get a little rain tomorrow or the next day, it'll push into the soil and that corn will eat it up. It'll let it really take off here the last month or two of its growth cycle.
Why do you put nitrogen on it?
Because that's what corn just loves nitrogen. So it really, with this heat of the summer and the nitrogen, it just, I don't know, it makes it want to explode. It really does. So it's a good spot to do it. This is only our second year planting this field, and the soil is really not the best, honestly. So giving it that extra shot of nitrogen it's gonna help it. Although the corn, it does look really good. Honestly, looks really good. Really, if you look at the health of this plant, I mean, no, that corn, it's got girth to it. This corn is gonna produce good solid ears. I'm excited to see what the finished product is, but a little nitrogen's gonna get it home. They don't give you any room in these bags.
You know, Dino's all worried about this corn. I'm more of a bean guy myself. So we're gonna take a look at the pods. This makes me happy. I mean, come on. Look at these beans, you guys. This was no-tilled. This field was no-tilled no tilling, no tilly on this field. Look at it. And that brown spot in there, he couldn't even get in there because it was wet. Anywhere he planted, and you can see this from the drone, but anywhere that he planted, anywhere that he went, you can literally see the tracks of exactly where he went. And this was pretty wet when he planted, or when we planted this originally. But this field is going to be sick. This is going to have a lot of beans in it, and that's amazing. Like, this field is big. When you look at it from the drone, like, there's a lot of food in here. There is a lot of food in here. And with this corn, once it grows up 6-7 feet tall, this corn is going to completely block everything from the road. Nothing down on this bottom side is going to have any, you're not going to be able to see it from the road, and they're not going to be able to see the road or any of the barns or houses up yonder. It's a perfect setup because you're a little bit up on this rise. This hill goes down. This is all bedding down here. I mean, that blind and rifle season is going to be money. And it's, I mean, with the beans this close, like, it could be pretty good during bow season too. But gosh, these beans are amazing. And it makes me happy because with the Ackerman equipment that we used and with the P&H drills, we were able to come in here, and next year it's going to be the same thing. We're going to kill this field off. We're going to do a better job of that, actually, initially. I can tell you that much for sure. We're going to kill this field off, and we're going to spray it earlier on, and maybe a couple times, to really have this killed off. And then literally you don't have to do a thing. And we sprayed this one other time after the fact, but there's no weed, there's no weeds in here because you're not turning that dirt over and regenerating the weed growth in the soil. You're literally drilling the beans right in the soil. So once everything is dead on the surface, those beans are the first thing to come up. They take over, and it looks like this. Like, come on. Does this just make you want to dance? This is crazy. This is crazy. I love it. And what that P&H drill allowed us to do was be extremely efficient. We literally planted this entire field in one day. We turned with the Machio tiller, we turned where the corn was, we planted it, and then this was all no-tilled, obviously, and we planted it literally in a couple hours. This whole field, this is 2.5 to probably close to 3 acres worth of just pure grain food for the deer, that once the late season comes around, this field is going to be a mecca. And I mean a freaking mecca. And I can't wait. The fence is working. We have a mole tree on the bottom corner of the fence down there. And there's deer that are eating outside the fence in daylight, in the dark, all of it. And that's fine. That's why we leave a little bit of beans outside the fence, because we allow the deer to eat that, and they don't have a tendency to jump inside the fence as much, and they just let it go. So give them a little, protect a lot, protect your investment. This is money. I mean, this is freaking money. I'm in love. I'm pumped. I don't even know what to say, as you can tell, but this worked perfectly, and I can't wait to see what it turns out in the next couple months. Once we get into like end of August and into September, what this is going to look like, and the amount of deer that are going to be hitting it is going to be unreal. Extremely happy right now. Extremely happy. All right, guys, this is our second field we're going to put nitrogen down on. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 2 acres of corn here. This is the tall stuff, is what we planted first. So whatever that was, June 3rd or something like that, we put that stuff in with a 2-row corn planter. It was just too wet. We normally like to plant all up into here. It was just too wet. We couldn't use this part of the field. We couldn't even really turn it, so we had to leave it alone. But several weeks later, it finally dried out. We didn't have the corn planter, so we figured, why not test it out? We had some seed left over. So we just came through and disked this down to nice dirt, broadcasted corn,
and then disc right over top of it one time, one pass. And it's actually coming up. There's a lot of corn in here. Probably overseeded it a hair, but there's a ton of browse. The deer browse this whole field this year for some reason. They haven't in years past, but it'll come up through that stuff. It just needs to go a little bit. So we might hit this with a quick nitrogen too while we're at it. And I'm actually really impressed with how well it grew. I didn't think it was going to work at all, but we've had people that tell us it works. They've done it before. So if you don't have access to a planter, sometimes they can be expensive, even expensive to rent, or they're just cumbersome to rent. You got to go pick them up, yada yada yada. You can broadcast corn. It works. It sure does. See what it's going to be interesting to see when the field's all done, you know, in a month and a half, how this looks compared to that. So let's give it the onions here.
Food Plot Chronicles and TAGNBRAG Nation. This is Bob's Upper, and this is the taller portion of the field, but my goodness, it's getting close to shoulder height at this point. It has seemingly shot up like crazy. I mean, crazy. But we were a little nervous because if you remember when we were planting this field, right about in the middle, somewhere in here, the chain broke on the planter. And so the seed was not coming out, at least in one row. The seed was not coming out. We were laying fertilizer down, but the seed wasn't coming out. So we fixed that problem, and then we replanted it. And the replanting worked fantastically, actually. So pumped up about that, because we do have a full field of corn in here that we planted originally. And like Dean said, I mean, how cool is it that we just experimented with the broadcasting of this corn, and look at all this corn in here. All this is going to come up. I think it was a 72 or 3 day corn, and this is 91 day, I believe, and they were planted probably 2.5 to 3 weeks apart. So I don't know if this stuff will fully mature, but we've got the blind, we've got the hard blind up there. We're actually going to move a soft-sided blind down by this tree row down here so we can easily slip in from the road. And our predominant wind is like a west wind or a south wind, southwest wind. So anything blowing out this way, which is perfect, a lot better for sitting down here. So we can hunt this field a heck of a lot more, because we did not get that many hunts up in that hard blind this past year. But this field is looking good. We're nitroing it, give that corn a little booster, and see how she does over the next couple of weeks. We're gonna plant down here. Dean sprayed all this tall grass down here. Right up to the blind is gonna be all Whitetail Institute turnip blend. So we're gonna have green to grain. And it was crazy. We had a trail camera down here last year, and the deer were hammering these turnips, and we just planted them as a little test spot, because this was, once again, this was all wet again down there. But the deer were hammering them, you know, throughout the entire part of the season. So green, grain, nitro, Food Plot Cronies, all good things. And it's hotter than Hades out here. All right, TAGNBRAG Nation, we are at the infamous Ponderosa. And as you can see from the drone, we got some good things going on, and we've got some not so good things going on. The beans inside the fence look fantastic. Super pumped about those. I mean, look at this. Those are enriched beans. The only place that's struggling is right in the middle there where we had the groundhog problem that seems to be taken care of at this point. The corn, which is right in front of the blind, looks good. Looks like our other corn that we've, you know, in Bob's upper and lower. Looks like the corn in the front field. It's about shoulder height almost at this point, chest to shoulder height. But as you get up to the top of the field, it really thins out up there. And I think just with the wetness and with all the rain in June, that corn just unfortunately got washed out. I did just put some nitrogen over it for whatever it's worth and whatever's there to let it pop. But we are going to come in and broadcast some turnips in and amongst that corn up there, just so that we have as much food as possible in this particular plot. But I really like how the beans are coming up inside the fence. There is one weed in there. I can't remember what Dean called it, but the glyphosate does not kill it. And we're kind of thinking next year we may have to come in and plow and disc this field to flip everything over and try and get rid of that, because the last couple of years that has been coming up. But all in all, I mean, can't complain. There's a lot of food in here. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of food with the beans. There's a lot of food with the corn in front of the blind and even down towards the bottom of the field there. And this is just a big field. It really doesn't matter what type of food is in here. This field is gonna fill up with deer. You know, with how good the beans are, that's really what we rely on in this particular plot. So the fact that we got the fence up, it's looking good. There are some deer that are getting inside the fence, but as you can see via trail camera, there's some deer that are eating outside of the fence up top as well. And we will eventually spray that up there. And we may, I don't know if we'll fully till it, but we're definitely going to broadcast some turnips in the beans up there as well. So all in all, between the Ponderosa, Bob's upper and Bob's lower, these are all these plots are looking good. We did another traditional no-till in here, and I'm really satisfied with how the beans came up. You know, we were kind of a little bit iffy on it, or Dean at least was a little bit iffy on it, but man, the beans just came up really, really nice in both spots, the Bob's lower and up here in the Ponderosa. And unfortunately, we just had a little bit of water, a little bit too much water throughout the month of June that kind of washed us out up at the upper end of this field, and honestly even with some of the beans on the lower end of this field too. But nothing that we can really control. I think what we could control we did, and we did a good job of. This corn's going to get tall. It's going to allow us to come in from the backside, get in this blind undetected. These beans are going to be great out in the middle of this field, and you know, this plot's going to be awesome again this year. This is going to be one of the go-to plots, especially when the wind is right and when the late season hits and when there's any snow on the ground, and I'm excited about it. This is about 6 weeks from planting, so you can kind of see what we were up against. And I'm telling you, we lost a solid week and a half, close to 2 weeks, with how much water we had with like full like germination and these plants really getting off the ground. They're just starting to really pop right now with the heat of the summer, and finally with the ground, you know, drying out a little bit here in mid-July. So that's it. That's a wrap for Food Plot Chronicles episode number 4. We wanted to do a little update for you guys on all the plots that we had planted in the beginning of the season with Ackerman equipment and rental, and show you kind of the results that we got. It's another hot one here in Western New York. Next week, we will be starting to discuss our fall plots, which is our turnip brassicas blends from Whitetail Institute. We're going to be doing some small kill plots. We're going to be doing some bigger plots, and we're going to be adding some turnip brassicas mixes to the beans and the corn plots that we already have. Food plot diversity like we talked about last week. So we appreciate y'all watching. Signing off.
Well, what'd you guys think? I mean, in my opinion, the corn looks great. Outside of the Ponderosa, where we got a little washed out, Bob's upper and lower are looking spectacular. And my goodness, the beans. Oh, the beans. Good God, I love beans. The beans with the traditional no-till look phenomenal. And that makes me extremely happy because we were way more efficient with our time and money, and the beans look as good, if not better, than when we did all the prep work before. What's not to like? So as you can see, we've got deer hammering the beans and really starting to utilize these plots. And that's exciting stuff because it just means the season is right around the corner. We're gonna be bow in hand before you know it. And that's ultimately what we're chasing here on Food Plot Chronicles. In the next episode, we will be starting to prepare for and plant our fall plots from Whitetail Institute. A lot of stuff gets put down on these plots. And these are a far easier barrier of entry to your food plot game than the corn and the beans. So any of yous that are just starting your food plot journey, you're gonna wanna start paying attention right now. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the channel, follow Rocky, and follow Whitetail Institute, and we'll see y'all right back here next week for another episode of Food Plot Chronicles.